What's going on? Welcome to the Skilled Mascot Show. I would wish you a happy Thursday, but I really don't give a shit if you're having one. And I would thank you for watching, but you have nothing better to do. So let's just keep the show going. Let's get it started. Let's jump right in. Now the first thing you're wondering is, why is it titled episode 1.5? Now if you weren't an idiot, you'd know I'm gonna get to it, and you'd sit down and shut up and stop being an impatient little scuzz. But I'm gonna explain it to you. Now, for the people who are important in my life, my billionaire friends who are also rich podcasters, and some who are not, because they just don't have that much to say. They're too rich enjoying their lives. They saw the early release of episode 1. Now, when that episode made it to the internet, I got a phone call. And no, it wasn't from my boss, because I don't have a job. I'm not broke. I don't work. This isn't even my work. You think this is my source of income? I do this for you people. I do this for y'all. I do this to service the world. It's my penance. You know? So I didn't get a call from my job. You probably got a call from your job asking why you overslept. Get up. You've got your overnight shift to work. But I got a call from my friends in the Trump administration, and they weren't too happy about my comments on Saudi Arabia and leaking the details of my call with Netanyahu. Now, the viewers who saw the episode will know the details about that call. If you didn't see the episode, you missed out, and that sucks. But it's gone now. It was wiped from the face of the internet. So this is the amended version. We're not going to be going over the same topics. I was given a strict warning not to talk about some of the things I was discussing, lest my accounts be frozen and I have to become one of y'all again. That is my greatest nightmare, and they know this. So I'm going to be keeping it light today. We're going to be talking about some funnier, not so funny, but less political things. Some political things, but not so much domestic. And I've got my list of notes like last time, so if you see me look away from the camera, I'm either getting a very important email about another multiple hundreds of millions of dollars I've made, or I'm going to make, or I'm reading my notes. And so the first thing I want to talk about, I want to jump right in, because this has been something that's been on my mind for a little bit, and it's kind of old news now. But now that I'm talking about it, it's going to be brought back to the forefront of the public consciousness. We're all going to be talking about it. Not so much about the event, but about Mascot's take on the event. And I'll give my take on the event. Now, a few months ago, there was a comedy festival in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Now, my viewers who saw episode 1 will know that I was just in Riyadh. I was meeting with Mr. Beast. I was checking out Beastland, kicking it with the slaves. They love it, by the way. And that was part of the reason why I got in trouble. Because I used the term slave too loosely, mentioned a couple journalists who went missing over there. You know, loose tongue, loose lip sync ships. And I got in a little bit of trouble for what I had to say. And I should have known I was going to get in trouble. I should have known. Because they just had that comedy festival. Now, freedom of speech is something we all enjoy in America. We all know you can not get in trouble for saying anything in this country. You can say absolutely anything you want all the time. Don't watch that video of that woman being arrested for protesting ICE. It does not matter. And she was not at a riot. She was just talking on the news. But that doesn't matter. In this country, you're allowed to say whatever you want, whenever you want. And in Saudi Arabia, it's not so much the same. Women don't really get to say much of anything out there. But two major no-nos in Saudi Arabia is you can't comment on the government. You can't comment on the crown royal family. And you can't comment on religion. Now, any sentient human being would know that that's kind of a red flag for a comedian. You can't talk about religion or the government? What are we gonna do? Tell knock-knock jokes? Why'd the chicken cross the road? Because fucking it had a suicide vest on? and the World Trade Center was on the other side. Like, there's very little that you can discuss when those two things are off topic, but several comedians decided to go. Now, one of the comedians who decided to go was Bill Burr. I don't need to tell you who Bill Burr is. You know who Bill Burr is. If I know who Bill Burr is, your unimportant ass knows who Bill Burr is. But what you may not know about Bill Burr is that he used to be pretty anti-woke. He wasn't rocking with the SJW crowd before. But over the years, he softened up a bit. He became, a little bit more knowledgeable. I'm not ascribing moral judgments to anything. But he became a little bit more knowledgeable about the world and his placement in it as a wealthier white man. And he became very outspoken on specific issues. One of them in particular was Beyonce performing for Gaddafi's children. There were some other comedians who went to Saudi Arabia, and Bill Burr back in 2013 made some riffs about them. He had some comments. His comments were not appreciated. But now in the year of our Lord, 2026, Bill Burr is receiving some flack. He's getting some flack. And why is Bill Burr getting flack? Why are the people mad? The bots, as he calls them. He doesn't believe that he's received any real criticism on the event. It's just all bots. It's all bots. And before we get into this whole debacle about why people are upset about him, why the bot armies are released, I just want to say the utter profoundness of that rebuttal. It captures the age that we're living in. It takes advantage of an already growing issue online, and what's the word I'm looking for? It releases, and I can't think of the specific word right now. It releases Bill Burr of any sort of need to introspect about his decision and if he made the right choice or not, and why his fans are quickly turning on him. Because if you don't believe that any of your fans are turning on you and they're all just bots, then you're completely justified in what you're doing. So that is my personal new cope for all of 2026, and who knows how far in the future, is that anytime I have a detractor, anytime I have a critic, anytime I don't fulfill a responsibility and I am called out on it, I'm just going to chalk it up to bots. Your Honor, I stopped paying my taxes in 2026 because the bots wanted my money. Your Honor, I didn't run over that family of 4. They were just bots. So, the bots are after Bill Burr. And why are the bots after Bill Burr? Well, the bots are after Bill Burr because he kind of sacrificed his morals and he went over to Saudi Arabia and performed for one of the most oppressive governments on the planet. Now, that wouldn't be so much of a big deal. We could just say, he doesn't really give a shit anymore. He wants the money. Tons of people want money. You want money. I would want money if I were you, but I'm not you, so I don't want money. I've got lots of it. But tons of people want money. Everybody wants money. So, that would be that. If it was just that, if it was just like Dave Chappelle, said, I'm going to Saudi Arabia just so I can say no here, then that'd be that. And I'd still think he was kind of a questionable guy, but I would not question his justification for it. He wants cash. Okay. Good to know. But Bill Burr has decided to take it upon himself to take the moral high ground in the situation. In a country where journalists are routinely murdered and there is a prison wing named after one of the diplomats in the country who has his favorite soccer team routinely criticized on Twitter. In the backdrop of that, he's decided to take the moral high ground. He said, and at the same time, he's saying that we're all virtue signaling, and we're the sanctimonious who are sanctimonying, not we, you. I have not said anything until now, but now that I'm giving my take on the situation, I guess I'm one of the sanctimonious sanctimonying, in his words. Now, it's a strange position he's put himself in, because simultaneously he said we're all taking the moral high ground, we're all pretending to have virtue, we're all virtue signaling, right? But at the same time, he's calling all of his detractors racist. He's saying that we don't believe that people in Saudi Arabia deserve comedy, that they don't deserve a good show. Now that would be true, and I would have to agree with him there if he performed in a random comedy club, in some random mosque, at a jihad, If it was one of those things, I would say, you know what, Bill, you're right. People are just being racist, and the people of Saudi Arabia, despite what the government has done, deserve a good show. You'd be right. But you're performing for the Crown Royal Prince who murders these people routinely. So I'm wondering, Bill, how much do you think these people really deserve? And what is it they deserve specifically? Would you be okay with the people of Saudi Arabia? I guess they wouldn't be people in that case. They'd be bots if they were talking about you, so it's a moot point. But yeah, everybody coming after Bill Burr is a racist. Everybody coming after Bill Burr is a racist. You're all racist bots. Everybody's a racist bot these days. All racist bots. And these racist bots were able to not even dig up, because Bill Burr's been screaming this from the rooftops. But these racist bots have been showing some interesting clips of what I'll call Bonesaw Bill. That's a little bit of foreshadowing for you stupid people. But they've dug up these clips of Bill saying things like, when I was really scared when my agent I can't do a Boston accent, dropping it, not doing it. But he said, I was really scared when my agent told me that I was doing a show in Saudi Arabia. I was really scared because I thought everything was going to be really tense. And that everybody would just have AK-47 shooting up the air. Death to America! Death to America! These are his words, not mine. His words, right? And he was instantly relieved when he got off the plane and saw that there wasn't an ISIS meeting happening in the airport. But he was immediately relieved when he saw a bunch of fast food chains. And he realized to himself, wait a second, these people are just like me. And I find it very interesting that the guy who's calling all of his detractors racist just found out that the country he was performing for was home to people. Bill Burr, breaking news, Bill Burr is finding out that Saudi Arabian people are in fact human and aren't programmed to kill Americans on the spot. They aren't all terrorists. It isn't a country covered in sand. This dude didn't even know Saudi Arabia had skylines. He thought it was just going to be sand and tents and deserts and camels. His words. But we're all racist. So I just want that to sink in. I don't have much more to say about Bill Burr. I think he's an incredibly disingenuous, stupid guy. But there have been others who have come out along with Bill Burr who have not taken kindly to the criticism they've received. Andrew Schultz and Akash Singh being two others. Now, Akash Singh really just needs to shut the fuck up and get his girl in check. Like, she be making it her profession to humiliate him. Like, she goes on every which podcast talking about, mind you, they started dating when Akash was like 31 and she was 21. First red flag. First red flag. Strange relationship. But they started dating when Akash was 31 and she was 21. And Akash prides himself on the fact that they were both still virgins. Now, I don't know why you would go on the internet as a comedian and brag about being a virgin at 31. Sorry, there was a fly on my desk and I had to kill it. I don't know why you would go on the internet and brag about that. But even worse, it's just kind of creepy. It's kind of weird. It's kind of gross, kind of icky, sticky that you pride yourself on your girlfriend being a virgin. Now, luckily, we didn't have to hear this story for much longer because she went on several podcasts, including his own podcast with his co-host Andrew Schultz, to humiliate him and talk about how she was getting her back blown out through all of college. Who cares, right? You know, your girl had sex, whatever. That's being a human being. Your partners have sex before you. You weren't the only person in their life. Now, Akash has decided to take his eye off the ball and prevent himself from getting cheated on by his 10 years, his junior wife, and weigh in on this whole Andrew Schultz performing in Saudi Arabia. Now, Andrew Schultz has taken a similar defense to Bill Burr. Very, very similar stance he's taken, that everybody is racist and they don't believe the Saudi Arabians deserve a good show. Now, like I said, I think that's cowardly and disingenuous. But I especially think that's cowardly and disingenuous for Andrew Schultz. Because didn't he do a podcast to get Trump elected? I'm not saying that Schultz was directly responsible for that, but he did endorse the man several times. And Trump did not make it a secret about his racialized plans for specific populations, specific members of the American population. So, isn't this sort of like a pot calling the kettle black situation? Like, weren't you just cool with racism? If I were to entertain the idea that everybody who's calling you out for your hacky shit comedy in very violent, let's just say evil country, everybody's calling you out is just a racist. But didn't you say that Kamala was gonna be on her period or something while she was in the office and press the nuclear button and make a whole bunch of comments directed towards misogynoir? I just find that to be a little bit suspicious and a little bit cowardly, frankly. Just stand on business, honestly. And I'm gonna stop this topic here. I don't really have much more to say about that. It's just I feel like this is more so just indicative of this Wuthering Heights era of society we're in, where no one really gives a shit anymore, right? And the reason I say this Wuthering Heights era, because Wuthering Heights, movie that came out recently, did I watch it? No, I didn't. Do I have an opinion on it? Yes, I do. It's funny how things like that work when you're important. But Wuthering Heights came out recently, and there was a whole bunch of controversy about the main male in the book or in the movie being played by Jacob Elordi, an extremely white man, and extremely white man. In the book alludes to the main male character not being white. It's not very clear on what race they are, but it's 100% that they're not white. Now, the reason why I say we're in a Wuthering Heights era and I bring this up is that people are complaining about it being bad, about it being shit, but the director herself said she never even read the fucking book. She didn't even give a shit. And then she made an entire movie about a story that she really didn't even give a shit about. Right? Everything sucks now because no one cares anymore. No one cares, right? You used to have your Carlins and your prime Dave Chappelle's and your fucking Patrice O'Neill's and your Bernie Macs and comedians who really, they had something to say and they had clearly cut out morals about things and they stood on that. But people's attentions you can't sit through a George Carlin set. You're not watching all of the Chappelle show. That's too long. That's too much shit to focus on. You could just scroll instead. And so we're in this whole scroll shit economy where no one really cares at all about what they're doing. I don't even really care that much about this podcast, if we're being honest. I don't do any research for this. I just hop on camera and just yap my ass off. Because I understand the time that we're in, and I'm taking advantage of it, right? Right? Could I put effort in? Yes, I could. But would effort be rewarded? No, it wouldn't. And I am not an innovator, I'm a follower. I see a trend and I hop on it. And so I'm on it. And so, we're in this whole era where everything is shit now. And all the entertainment is just distractions from what's going on in the world anyway, which it always has been, but at least we got good distractions back in the day. We got Breaking Bad, we got The Sopranos, we got The Wire. Now we're getting Love is Blind, Love on the Spectrum, Love Island, fucking baddies, Bad Girls Club, Curtains for Zusha, Bat Boy and Glum Glum, Slump the Joker. Like, it's all dog shit. It's all meant to distract you from what's going on. And everything is bite-sized now, right? So all you see is, even when you're getting delivered something real, something true, it comes through in a means that, doesn't convey the importance of the scenario. For example, when Charlie Kirk got shot, that was a massive moment that showed the divide in the American opinion and how people felt about that thing. I'm not going to give my opinion on it. I don't really have an opinion on it. But the entire ordeal was delivered through memes. And it all felt so stupid. And it all felt so I don't even know how to say it, but it just felt ugh. And that's the Epstein files. It's not no one's taking it seriously. It's all delivered through memes. John Kiriakou revealing how we torture people regularly and how deep our relationship with Israel goes. It's all delivered through memes. In short form, it doesn't even matter. And so the politics are the distraction themselves now, right? We've gotten to a point where everything has become memeified and shitified. And the entertainment is so bad that it's just you see a clip of the Marine Brian McGinnis, who got his hand broken by the senator today trying to call out against the war in Iran, and there's already being memes made of that. There's already being memes. It's already a joke. And that's just how the way things are now in this country. Everything's one big joke. And if I could have posed it last week's episode, you would have seen it's all one big joke because we're all having good times. In the midst of bad times, we're having good times. And so, this Marine, he got his hand broken. He's speaking out against the war in Iran, the bombing of random school children, and this, that, and the third. But don't worry about it. New distraction's been delivered. The McDonald's CEO won't eat the toxic radiation burger that you already knew was toxic radiation. But guys, he won't eat the burger. We found out McDonald's is bad. We're just now finding out that McDonald's is bad for you because the CEO won't eat the food. It's all just hubbub and nonsense, jargon, bullshit. And that's why everything feels so stupid these days, because nothing is meant to hold your attention for more than a couple seconds. You're not supposed to look into things that deeply. You're not supposed to really develop your own opinion on something. You're supposed to laugh at whatever meme serves your side of the political aisle and move on. Move the fuck on. Because we have shit to do. We have things to buy. We have people to kill. Not us personally, I'm talking about our government, but it's just the way things are, right? And so that's just where we are in this country. All right, so I cut part of the last bit out because I wanted to jump to a new topic, and I didn't know how to naturally shift topics, but I do want to talk about how there's been a lot of talk of revolutionary fervor in America. The people are angry, man. They're not happy. They're not happy with the guy they voted for. They're not happy with the guy they voted for and the things they voted for. And so people are talking about revolution, taking back what's theirs. And so I've got no issue with this. I've got no problem with it. I think people should do whatever they want. What I do think is the issue, though, that you will soon find out is that the problem isn't the revolution itself. The problem isn't the people you're fighting. The problem is going to be the people you're fighting with. Now I know you're confused. Are you caping for the billionaires, for the ones in charge? No, I don't give a shit what happens to them. I don't care. I don't give a shit what happens to y'all. I'm above it all. I exist outside of this paradigm. I'm just an observer. But my whole thoughts on this is that the issue is with the people you're going to be doing the revolution with, your fellow revolutionaries. Why? Because everyone in that encampment is going to piss you off. They are going to annoy the shit out of you. And I'm going to tell you why. Now, I'm all for progression in society. I love it. I'm a big proponent of progression. It's a great thing. But there has to be an on and off switch for certain parts of it. And when we're in the trenches together, I'll come down and watch from time to time. But we're in the trenches together, and we just shot a guy in the face, and you start talking to me about how that made me feel, I'm going to rip your fucking arms off, and I'm going to shove them down your throat. And I'm sorry to put it like that. I'm sorry. But the most annoying person is not out there. They're not in Washington. They're not in Silicon Valley. They're not in Iran. They're not in Israel. They're not in China. They're in your contacts of your phone. And that's who you're going to be fighting with, people. You're not going to be finding new friends and troops and sectors of society. You might. Most of you are painfully unlikable, so you probably won't. But you're going to be with your buddies, your pals, the people that you talk to regularly. And you're going to find out when push comes to shove, when these people are really tested. Not that they don't have it in them. I'm sure a lot of them do. They're American after all. They're itching to kill some shit. But you're going to find out that they are the most painfully annoying person you've ever met in your life. And even worse than that, they're going to be boring. They're going to be dull. Somehow in the backdrops of bullets, bombs, and explosions, you are going to be bored to death. You will be the war's 330,000th casualty, but you'll be the first one to not have an entry or exit wound. No. It'll be from that one guy who wanted to yap about that shit that no one fucking cared about. It'll be from that one guy who fucking had a story about some shit that he saw on the battlefield. Like, we're not all on the fucking battlefield, dude. We're all seeing it. We're all seeing shit. Oh, you saw an explosion? Oh, you saw a guy get his face shot off? Congratulations. What, you want a cookie? Or do you want to talk to me about how it made you feel? Huh? You want to talk about how it made you feel? How it made you feel? So I'm sick and tired of it, dude. I can't take it. The revolution needs to start from within. You need to revolt against that part of you that wants to be an annoying little bitch. The part of you that tells you to keep talking when everyone wants you to shut up. The part of you that wants to drag on and drone on. Revolt against that first. Revolt against that, and maybe you'll actually be able to build an army of people who want to fight with you and die for you. But the state we're in right now, I may shoot you myself. And that's just what it is. That's what it is. So I want to talk about this revolution, right? A revolution full of annoying people. And I find this whole idea of a revolution to be extremely novel. I think it's very funny. The reason why I think it's very funny is not because I don't think it's necessary. I think that we are at an interesting point in history right now where if the American people simply do nothing, their lives will look radically different and for the worse in the coming years. However, forget all the annoying people. Who else is going to be fighting the revolution? All the fat white people who look like chewed up gum? What are they gonna do? Be a meat shield? Cannon fodder? What? We're gonna get the fucking Gen Zers who can't put down their phone for 0.5 seconds? The people who we're gonna be in the revolution with people playing rain bet, Kalshi on which state of the United States gets invaded next? These are gonna be the people you're revolting with, and there's simply no hope. There's no hope. America's got it by a thou wow. They've got it by a thou wow. There's no chance. And I'll tell you why it's no chance. It's not because of the drones. It's not because of the bombs. It's not because of the heightened military. It's because of you. It's because of you. It's because of me. It's because of people like us. We are our own worst enemy. We are. We're so consumed with menial bullshit that doesn't really matter. And no one's ever going to spark the change that everyone's talking about anyway, so it doesn't even matter. All this talk of revolution, yada, 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 it's all just fluff. It's all just fat. It's all just a way for people who are paranoid and scared to make themselves feel better. And that's okay, because you do have to have ways to make yourself feel better when you're paranoid and scared. That's the way the world works. You have to have coping mechanisms, we call them. But please, for the love of God, let them be less fucking annoying and require less food. Like, if we're gonna do anything, if we're gonna make any movement, we're gonna have to start with you shutting your fat fucking face in 2 ways. Stop talking, stop eating, and start shooting. That's the only way things are gonna get done. Otherwise, you idiot, get on your phone and keep on scrolling like you are anyways and complain to someone who gives a fuck. And that's how we're closing out this episode today, people. The revolution isn't coming. There's no savior on a white horse. It's never coming. You killed him because you wouldn't shut the fuck up. So if I can end this episode with a PSA to everybody, stop talking and stop eating and have a good night.